What if I told you for $5 a day that you too could be a millionaire? No tricks, no lottos, no get rich quick. This is just math and time, which is the power of compounding interest. When you think about this, Einstein has said this is the eighth wonder of the world, which it is when it comes to investing, when it comes to the ability to generate money into more money. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how a small amount, really consistent investments will grow into serious wealth. And we have seen this, and it has made more millionaires. Over 90% of millionaires are first time or first generation millionaires. And that is also true because of investing. So stick around because it might be the most important financial concept that you're going to hear about. So, first of all, guys, we got to break it down. What is compounding interest? So, very easy. It is interest on your interest. So, when you invest money, your money can generate returns. With those returns, it earns more interest. And this is its growth on top of growth on top of growth. Unlike simple interest, which is simple straight interest, which earns on your initial deposit, this actually compounds the principal and the interest. So when we think of a very easy example, if you invest $1,000 and you get a 10% interest annually, that $1,000 after 1 year is going to turn to $1,100. So you earned $100. Now, if we continue to invest this, so at the beginning of year two, we invest that $1,100. Now it turns to $1,210. So not only did you get essentially the $100 that you got the first time, you also got a 10% bonus because that was the compounding factor. Year three, you're investing that $1,210. Now all of a sudden you're up to $1,331. So on and so forth. The longer that you compound this money, the faster it snowballs year over year over year. Now, when you start thinking bigger picture, if you're thinking 30, 40, 50 years to retirement, the compounding and the accumulation can just go astronomical. And that can be proven through Warren Buffett. Now, when we think of Warren Buffett at the age of 65, wasn't really worth the $1 billion that he is today. That is when the compounding interest and having a big stockpile of money really did make the big difference. So why is it so powerful? What makes compounding interest so powerful? It turns time into money. It's not about how much you're investing. It is about how long you let it grow. I always go back to my thoughts when I read The Psychology of Money, when they talk about investing on a regular basis for an extraordinary amount of time is going to build wealth and is going to build generational wealth. It is about starting early. That is the superpower. Even if you think on very modest contributions, let's say you're putting in $200 a month, you can turn that to hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars by your retirement time if you start early enough. And the best part, you don't have to be rich to do this. That is huge. You need two things. Number one, consistency. Number two, patience. That's it. That is, and we'll bring you to the magic of time. So let's think of two different people. And this is kind of a pretty cool scenario. So Alex starts investing at 20 years old. He puts $200 a month until age 30. Then he stops. That's it. Alex is done, not investing any longer. Now Jordan waits till he's 30, invests $200 a month until the age of 65. You're thinking starting at 30, investing $200 a month till the age of 65, which means when they both get to age 65, guess who has money for retirement? That's right. It was Alex. Putting the $200 a month over a 10-year period generated, because of the magic of compounding, generated more money than Jordan actually did. Why? Because the early years and the compounding and the ability to build and really establish wealth sooner is going to build that compounding aspect. So let's look at another example. And I want to kind of break this down. So say you invest $100 a month starting at age 25 into our favorite index fund, the S&P 500. At age 35, you'd have around $20,000. Then you fast forward 10 years, you're now at $65,000. Another 10 years, you're at $170,000. Then you go for the full 65 age, ready to retire. You are sitting on over $340,000 at just $100 a month starting at 25. Again, this is crazy when it comes to compounding. Now imagine if you had more than 100 to put in there. Let's say you started at $200 a month. By the time you got to retirement, you would have $700,000 by retirement, which is crazy. Very small, very regular, very consistent contributions in there. Now, even when we think about this, think about putting 5, 7, 10, even 15% of your salary. Let's say you put in $200 or $300, they match a certain portion. So think, for instance, if you're putting $300, $400 on a monthly basis into a retirement account, you are talking multi-million dollar funds and multi-million dollar retirement. Very easy, just making those regular contributions. So how exactly can we do this, and where are the simple steps that we can start? First one, starting as soon as possible. Everybody thinks, and a lot of people say, they need more money to retire. You need, a nest egg, you need a stockpile. No, you just need a job for income, and you need to use a certain portion of that income, even if it is small contributions, to invest overall. Now, when we talk about tax deferred accounts, Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks, absolutely want to put it in one of those as long as the investment portfolio really aligns with it. Choosing an interest in choosing an investment vehicle that is going to compound those friendly returns. Low cost index funds, super simple. You can invest in S&P 500, you can invest in the Nasdaq 100. Super simple, low cost index funds. When we start looking bigger picture at an extended amount of time, financial advisors cannot beat the market itself, just like the S&P 500. When you start going out, and I believe the theory or the quote is like 30 years, most financial advisors, roughly 99%, cannot beat the S&P 500. Now, step number 4, setting up automatic contributions. If you want 5% to go into that IRA or that 401k, you can absolutely set that up. And then you just have to be patient. Don't panic sell. Don't disrupt the compounding effect. Don't pull money out on loans. Don't pull it out for a first-time home buyer. The money you're putting in this account is meant for retirement. So keeping it in there for the long haul is going to allow the magic of that compounding really going in there. Consistency, constant contributions will beat intensity 99% of the time. You don't have to invest a lot. You just have to invest often. So what exactly should you be investing in? Now, of course, my favorite, the best kind of investment that I love to do, index funds, ETFs. So we're looking at the VOO, the QQQM, we're looking at the SCHD. And most of you know, if you've been watching the channel, that is my 3 ETF portfolio. And it has been doing absolutely phenomenal this year, considering how much and how high the QQQ has actually been going for the NASDAQ 100 and how far the VOO has actually been growing this year. It's incredible. Now, of course, with this comes dividend reinvestment plans, or DRIP. You want to take all the dividends that are generated, even though the yield on these are pretty low because they are index funds. Reinvesting the dividends automatically are going to grow that portfolio faster. Then you throw on the compounding aspect in there, it is kind of crazy. Now, when we start thinking about a little bit of a shorter term, if we're thinking like our emergency fund, this is what we want in a high yield savings accounts. Making sure we're earning about 4% is about average right now. So you don't want it sitting in a regular account. You don't want it sitting in a regular savings account because it's really going to be eaten up by inflation. Now, for me personally, Roth IRA accounts, tax-free compounding, you can't beat it. Then, of course, you could look at real estate, but I feel like this is very powerful long-term returns, but it's very hard to get into real estate. Me personally, I don't want to be a landlord. I don't want to manage tenants. I don't want to worry about that at all. When we start thinking about really the compound friendly investments, the real key is time. It's not so much the type of investment, it is more of the time that you have. If you have a 50-year runway and you're putting consistent contributions in there, you will absolutely have a monster portfolio. So when we think of compounding interest, it's kind of like a tree, very slow moving at first, but over the years, the growth really goes beyond what you can imagine. Start planning today and have that future for yourself. Now, if you learned something valuable in this video, make sure you like, subscribe, share the video to your friends with someone who needs to hear about the compounding interest, and definitely drop me a comment down below that you're starting the compounding, what you're investing in, so I know, and we can really do this together. Thank you for watching, and remember, small steps with time will be absolutely big wealth, and I'll see you in the next one.